Hi, this is Wonton, and welcome to my guide for transitioning from LFR to Flex in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid. This guide is for people who have acquired a significant amount of LFR experience and gear and want to jump into Flex raiding. This means it will not explain the basics of every fight to you, and just focus on the mechanics that I see causing the most problems whenever I run Flex. This first video will cover Flex 1 and Flex 2. First, let me give you the good news. 95% of the abilities in Flex are already in LFR. If you're watching this video, it probably means you're someone who does their research, which means you're already almost ready to join a Flex raid. Now the bad news. If there were things you were lazy about because it was just LFR, it's time to stop being lazy about them. Have food and flasks ready, as well as plenty of tomes so you can switch out talents and glyphs based on what's needed each fight. And now, the real bad news. Many other people in Flex Pugs are going to be the same baddies from LFR. They'll come in, start begging for food and flasks, fail mechanics, and continue pulling 60k less DPS than they should be. Choose your Flex groups wisely. OQ and Open Raid are good tools to get your feet wet, but if you really want to dive in, find a guild run you can tag along with. Alright, let's get to it. Immersius. First, you're probably used to 25-man LFR, while most Flex groups only have 10 to 14 people, so spread out well, making special care to spread your healers properly. Tanks and DPS. CC glyphs and talents make a big difference, and hybrid classes can heal some white blobs if there are no black ones nearby. Use personal cooldowns and heals when the blobs reach Immersius. Healers. Make sure every tank and DPS can be reached by at least one healer, and be ready for big raid damage when the blobs reach Immersius. Protectors. Tanks. Some raids will want the bosses stacked from the start, so ask before you pull. Rook's tank should pick up Misery and tank her in a corner, while Hez tank should pick up Gloom and keep him interrupted as much as possible. Healers. Dispels are the name of the game here. Raid healing will become a lot simpler if you can quickly get rid of Shadow Word Bane before it jumps. Also, stack an Inferno Strike to split the damage. DPS. Prioritize Sorrow over Gloom over Misery, and really pay attention at the end to make sure all three bosses die within 15 seconds of each other. Also, stack an Inferno Strike to split the damage. Norishin. Finally, the raid gets a new mechanic. To go to the test realm, you will need to click a golden orb. In Flex, there will be n over 5 orbs rounded up. Tanks. Normally one of you will be assigned to take an orb immediately, and the other will take an orb once he's back. Taunt the big ads over quickly when they spawn, and soak the shadow orbs they drop. DPS. You should be assigned an orb order such that every DPS gets to go in at some point. If you're going into the test realm soon, you can help your tanks by soaking a shadow orb. Healers. There's not much point to go into the test realm for you, so just do your thing, and soak a shadow orb if you want to help your tanks out. Shaw of Pride. Tanks. Another new mechanic for you. Wounded Pride is a debuff that makes the active tank get 5 Pride with every melee attack, so taunt swap immediately when this happens. For Imprison, the active tank can't leave melee range, so he should get the near lock, while the other tank picks up the lock in the back. DPS and healers, stack tight on the axe, spreading for Bursting Pride, Self-Reflection, or if you need to jump into your projection or open a prison lock. Galacrus. First, the mini-bosses on the towers will now knock you off the tower with their cone attacks. If you're in the tower group, pay really close attention to which way they're facing, or you might fly off and die. Have someone assigned to shooting down drakes in each cannon, and another person to go back to the first cannon when Galacrus needs to be shot down. Tanks. The Galacrus phase is a real step up in damage. Whenever you're at high stacks of flames, make sure you're using your defensive cooldowns. Stand to the side when you're not actively tanking her. DPS and healers. Stack real tight behind Galacrus and run backwards if you're targeted by the fireball. This is the first encounter with serious raid damage, and you need to mitigate it properly by performing the mechanics. This phase is very damage intensive, but usually pretty short, so use every defensive and healing cooldown in the book to stay alive. Iron Juggernaut. First, a pro tip. Crawler mines only spawn behind the boss, so face them as shown here to keep them all contained in a small area. Tanks. Swap after each round of mines, so the tank soaking them isn't also taking damage from Ignite Armor. Manage your cooldowns intelligently, as Ignite Armor and Crawler mines both hurt quite a bit. DPS and healers. Nothing new here. If you have a strong personal cooldown, you can help tanks out by soaking a mine. Dark Shamans. In Flex and above, I recommend doing the 3-tank strategy on this fight. The way it works is that once the dogs are dead and the poison mist totems have dropped, 2 tanks, 1 healer, and all the melee go up the ramp with Haram, where they only need to place Ashen Walls one after another and avoid foul streams. The 3rd tank keeps Cardress in the main area with the rest of the raid, doing the same thing as before, but with fewer abilities to handle. Overall, it's a much more controlled strategy, and I definitely recommend it if someone with a tank off-spec is available. Otherwise, there's nothing really new here, except that all the abilities you shouldn't stand in will now deal significantly more damage, so you really need to watch your positioning. The trash before Nazgrim deserves a special mention. The group of Arcweavers can be CC'd to death, and the assassins just need to be kited, but the group of War Shamans after requires an actual plan. There's 6 of them, and their healing tide totems now heal for 20% per tick instead of 1%, and there's not enough AoE stuns in the world to continually interrupt their chain heals. Have 1 tank group them all up by the door, while another taunts them one at a time up the ramp out of range of the chain heals, where the DPS can burn him down. Nazgrim. If your raid's DPS is good, consider doing the extra safe strategy on this fight. There's only a total of 10 waves of reinforcements, so you can get the boss to 15%, stop DPS, wait until the 10th wave is dead, and go for a burn. This usually leaves you with only 1 to 1.5 minutes on the enrage timer, so think twice before using this strategy. Tanks. Swap promptly as soon as your stacks of Sundering Blow fall off. It's not about damage. Every stack gives them more rage, and being slow on the swap might bring out an early Ravager and really screw up your plans. DPS. This fight is all about ad control. Stun assassins and Arcweavers and interrupt War Shamans. Also, the Shaman's healing tide totems now heal for 20% every 3 seconds instead of 1%, so burn those down as quickly as you can. Finally, Nazgrim will get way more rage now if you hit him in defensive stance, so make sure you stop right away. Dots applied before defensive stance are okay, as are pets. Healers. Nothing really new here, but Warsong hurts a lot, so make sure everyone is topped off before the ability goes off. That's it for Flex 1 and 2. Hopefully you now have the knowledge and confidence to join a Flex raid, and look forward to a video on Flex 3 and 4 soon. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this guide.